University of South Alabama. I now recognize Ms. Brittany Peters, if you want to deliver our results, and we will start taking up our votes. Go ahead and tell all of you this could be a lengthy process.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, I think we said votes a minute ago. These are nominations.
I'm sorry, thank you, Will. Yes, this will be a process of nominations, and then we will have a roll call vote based on each applicant. I'm going to begin to award and the denial of cultivation licenses. These are nominees. A unanimous nomination of Gulf Shore Remedies, LLC, has been put forth. Do we have a motion to take that nomination?
Motion.
Got a motion from Ms. Hatchett. Do I have a second? Second from Jersey Zaflarski. Any other discussion on Gulf Shores? I'm going to ask Mr. John McMillan to have a roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Salinsky.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin. Dr. Jensen.
Hold a second.
She's there, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarski.
Yes.
Unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. We have a unanimous vote. Roll call vote on that one will confirm that licensee. The second one, Pure by Sermon Farms, an LLC. Do I have a motion to nominate? Motion from Mr. Jersey Zaflarski. Have a second?
Second.
Second from Dr. Blakemore. Any other? Is there any other discussion? Mr. John, take a roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Salinsky.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
No.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarski.
Yes.
Unanimous, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. We have an overwhelming positive vote for Pure by Sermon. They will be awarded a license. The next item will be Blackberry Farms LLC. Is there a motion to nominate?
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Dwight Gamble, second from Commissioner Jensen. Any other discussion on that nominee? Mr. John, have a roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Salinsky.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarski.
Yes.
Unanimous vote, Mr. Chairman.
Unanimous vote will pass. That confirms a license for Twisted Herb Cultivation. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Think we can do each one? I'll go ahead and take, is there a nomination for IM Farms? Is there a nomination?
Skip one.
Okay. I'm sorry. Twisted Herb Cultivation, that would be the next item to vote on. Is there a nomination for Twisted Herb Cultivation? Got a motion, Dr. Jensen. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Zaflarski. Any other discussion on that nominee? All in favor? Mr. John, your roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Salinsky.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Majority rules that Twisted Herb Cultivation will receive a license,
A nomination.
Is there a nomination for I Am Farms? From the floor. Got a nomination from Dr. Jensen. Is there a second?
Second.
For I Am Farms. Have a second from Dr. Blakemore. Mr. John, have a roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Zaliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell. Dr.
Yes.
Saflarsky.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, is there a nomination for Greenway Botanicals? From the floor. Nomination from Dr. Jensen. Is there a second? Second from Jersey Saflarsky. Mr. John, will you have that vote? Roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Zaliski.
No.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion carries. Greenway Botanicals now qualifies for a license. Is there a motion to nominate CRC of Alabama?
So moved.
Got a motion from Dr.
Second.
Blakemore and a second from Dr. Zaliski. Any other discussion? Mr. John McMillan, have the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
No?
Dr. Zaliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
I'm sorry. No.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Carries.
Motion carries. Let's see. The last item for a cultivator be the James Gang Dispensary. Is there a motion to nominate?
I nominate.
We have Dr. Martin with the nomination. Is there a second? For lack of a second, the motion will die. Let's move on to the processors. I'll now entertain a motion for an applicant for a processor. The first one will be Enchanted Green, which got a unanimous vote, may I remind you.
So moved.
Got a second from Mr. Dwight. Motion by Dwight, second from Dr. Jensen. Any other discussion? Roll call, Mr. John.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Zaliski.
Yes.
Mr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Motion carries. Enchanted Green is granted a license. The next item is 1819 Labs. That's a processor. Is there a motion to nominate?
Nominate.
Motion from Dr. Zaliski. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Saflarsky. Any discussion? Mr. John, do the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Zaliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Motion passes. Third item, Organic Harvest. Is there a motion to nominate?
Make a motion.
Got a motion from Ms.
Second.
Hatchett, second from Dr. Blakemore. Any other discussion? Mr. John with a roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Zaliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries. Organic Harvest will receive a license. This could be the last item, so let me remind you, we are limited to 4 processors. Is that right, Brittany? So this could be the final vote on processors. So keep that in mind. If this one passes, we will stop at that point. Is there a motion to nominate Jasper Development Group?
So moved.
Got a motion from Mr. Dwight Gamble, second from Dr. Jensen. Any other discussion? Mr. John with a roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Safarsky.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Need a motion to drop the rest of them.
You got your 4.
Yes. I was thinking we might need a motion to dispense with the rest, but we pretty much have to stop there because processors are full. So, Daniel, you or Will or Justin, see we need to, I'm out of order anytime, call me. We will now consider nominations made for the dispensary licenses. I will also remind you, we are limited to award up to 4 licenses in this category, but not required to award all 4. So I'll entertain a motion to start off with the one unanimous applicant, which is Yellowhammer Medical Dispensaries LLC. Is there a motion to nominate? You got a motion from Dr. Jensen?
Second.
Second from Dr. Blakemore. Any other discussion? Have the roll call by Mr. John.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Safarsky.
Yes.
Motion passes. Second item on the dispensary aspect, we CCS of Alabama, the application ID number 1611. We haven't been acknowledging that, but that's their number. So is there a motion to nominate CCS of Alabama?
So moved.
Who made that one?
Dwight.
Dwight Gamble made the motion. Second from Jersey Saflarsky. Any other discussion? Mr. John, have the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Safarsky.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes. We will now take up possibly the last vote. If this vote passes, we will,
Yeah, we just
I'm
we're
sorry.
RJK.
I'm sorry.
We're RJK.
Looking past. We have a third vote, possibly a 4th. Okay, RJK Holdings of Alabama and LLC. Is there a motion to nominate?
I nominate.
Dr. Martin nominates RJK Holdings. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Saliski. Any other discussion? Mr. McMillan, give the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price.
Yes.
Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Safarsky.
Yes.
Motion passes. The 4th applicant on the list will be Statewide Property Holdings and LLC. Is there a motion to nominate?
So moved.
I nominate him.
You do it, Dwight. Motion by Mr. Dwight Gamble. Second, Dr. Jensen. Any other discussion? Mr. John, give the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Safarsky.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Before we move on, because that's 4, I'd like to make a statement.
Okay, that does close our nomination of dispensaries. We're up at a full capacity at 4, which is what the statute allows. I'm gonna ask Dr. Blakemore to make a comment before we move further.
So as chair of the subcommittee for medical cannabis dispensaries, I'd like to make a quick statement. The dispensary applicants involved that were licensed today all have pharmacist involvement. Pharmacist involvement has always been important to me. Pharmacists are the drug experts, and they can ensure appropriate workflow in medical cannabis dispensaries. Good workflow prevents drug errors. Good workflow ensures appropriate operational management to ensure patient safety. At our very core, we must ensure the safety of the citizens of Alabama. Everyone keeps talking about making money, but we will be unable to sustain business development of these facilities if we hurt people. Pharmacist involvement ensures safety comes first. While pharmacist involvement was not mandatory, it certainly makes me feel better to see my profession stepped up to the plate.
Thank you, Dr. Blakemore. I agree wholeheartedly. Anybody got any questions for Dr. Blakemore pertaining to dispensaries before we move on to the next category? We will now consider nominations made for secure transporter licenses. And I remind you, there is no statutory limit for secure transporters. We're not required to award any particular number of licenses, but we'll start off by entertaining a motion to begin with the first applicant listed here, be Tyler Van Lines. Is there a motion to nominate Tyler Van Lines? We got a motion from Dr. Jensen.
Second.
Second from Ms. Hatchett. Any other discussion? Mr. John with the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen. Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell. Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you all for your vote. The next item for secure transporter license of International Communications LLC. Is there a motion to nominate?
Motion.
Motion from Ms. Hatchett.
Second.
Second from Mr. Dwight Gamble. Second, excuse me, Dwight. Any other discussion? Mr. John with the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes. Third applicant will be XLCR. Is there a motion to nominate XLCR as a transporter? Motion from Dr. Saflarsky. Is there a second? Second from Dr. Jensen. Any other discussion? I ask Mr. John to have the roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes.
Dr. Saliski.
No.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion passes. The last potential nominee will be Alabama Secure Transport.
You keep going.
We're limited?
No, unlimited. Keep
Okay.
going.
So that's it?
No.
Well, I thought that one had passed fail out. Okay, the Alabama Secure Transport LLC. Is there a motion to nominate? Motion from Dr. Jersey Safarsky. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Skelton. Any other discussion? Mr. John will have the roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
No?
Dr. Saliski.
No.
Dr. Blakemore.
No.
Mr. Gamble.
No.
Dr. Martin.
No.
Dr. Jensen.
No.
Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
No.
Mr. Harwell.
No.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
That fails.
That applicant fails. The last applicant here did not qualify based on pass-fail items. So, we still nominate, okay, does somebody want to still make a nomination of pick up my things? No nomination from the floor, we will move on to the state testing lab. We'll consider nominations for the state testing laboratory licenses. I remind you, there is no statutory limit for these number of licenses, and we are not required to award any particular number of licenses. So entertain a motion for any applicant that was unanimously, I don't think we have any unanimous nominations on this one, but I'll start off by Certus Laboratories, the first one on the list. Is there a nomination for
So
Certus
moved.
Laboratory? Got a motion from Dr. Blakemore, second from Ms. Hatchett. Any other discussion? Mr. John, have the roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
No.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Yes.
Motion passes. That clarifies Certus Laboratories for a license. The only other applicant will be ALA Labs. Is there a motion to nominate? Hearing none, we'll move on to the final category of integrated facilities. We'll consider nominations made for our integrated facility licenses. As a reminder, I'd like to tell all of us that we can award up to 5 licenses in this category, but are not required to reward any particular number, but no more than 5. To begin with, I'll entertain a motion for any. There were none unanimously nominated, so we'll just start at the top. And is there a motion to nominate INSA Alabama and LLC? Got a motion from Ms. Skelton. Is there a second?
Second.
Dr. Blakemore with a second. Any other discussion? Mr. John, have the roll call.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen. Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
I'll abstain.
Motion passes. INSA Alabama will receive a license. Next applicant will be Flowerwood Medical Cannabis and LLC. Is there a motion to nominate?
Motion.
Got a motion from Mrs. Hatchett,
Second.
second from Dr. Blakemore. Any other discussion on the applicant? Mr. John, have the roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen. Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell. Dr. Saflarsky.
Abstain.
Motion still passed. Motion passes. Thank all of you. The next applicant to be considered, Southeast Cannabis Company and LLC. Is there a motion to nominate?
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Dwight Gamble. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Hatchett. Any other discussion? Mr. John, have the roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Abstain.
Motion passes. The next applicant up for consideration is Sustainable Alabama and LLC. Is there a nomination for Sustainable Alabama from the floor? Got a motion from Judge Price. Is there a second from Ms. Skelton? Any other discussion? Mr. John, have the roll call vote.
Mr. Vaughn.
Yes?
Dr. Saliski.
Yes.
Dr. Blakemore.
Yes.
Mr. Gamble.
Yes.
Dr. Martin.
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
No.
Ms. Skelton.
Yes.
Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett.
Yes.
Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Saflarsky.
Abstain.
Motion passes. Fifth applicant to be considered be TheraTrue, Alabama. Is there a motion on the floor to nominate Thera True?
I nominate him.
Got a motion from
Yes.
Dr. Jensen.
Yes.
Ms. Skelton. Judge Price. Ms. Hatchett. Mr. Harwell.
Yes.
Dr. Safarsky.
Abstain.
motion passes. That's it. That will be our limit on integrated facilities at this time. We've reached our limit, our capacity of 5. Want to temporarily recess while our staff tabulates, make sure we have adequately awarded minority licenses and regional disbursement is adequate. Stand down.